Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Hot Topics. And now we're into doing it fully by video. And here we go. First topic is driven by an article that's really more than an article, it's an entire playbook. It's called the Remote Playbook from the largest all remote company in the world, which is GitLab. Tips for making remote work, tactics for remote transition and fluency, the most comprehensive remote work guide. That's what it's about. Are you wondering? Have you been reflecting on? I certainly have, and talking to lots of people around the nuances of remote work, all remote work, hybrid remote work. Are they different? Because here's the thing. None of us are talking anymore about going back. We're all talking about, or certainly I think thoughtful leaders are, about going forward. And for knowledge workers, that's likely to include some percentage, a significant percentage of remote work. As a matter of fact, if I understand the numbers, they're about 85 to 90% of knowledge-based organizations are going to include some form of remote working in some way or another, and that team members really want to participate in some form of remote work. So it's in front of us. So the so what is, this is a wonderful guide. Holy cow. I'm as I'm reading and I'm looking through, they do things like record everything. They record all their meetings and things in a way, because when you've got people, in their case, working in 67 different countries, 1,600 people, not everybody can get there, obviously, at a particular meeting or a conversation. So they record everything. And, it makes sense. People get to jump on and they actually document the heck out of everything, which almost seems a little bit counterintuitive, but they do. They've got playbooks for everything. And then, they do things like they leave ongoing video conference rooms so that you can just drop in there and talk about anything, right? The latest football game or the latest soccer/football game, or you name it, or whatever. That's just part of the story. So the now what is, gosh, I really encourage you to read the playbook. God, there's a lot there for us. And thank you, GitLab. Thank you for sharing, and hope you enjoy it. Topic is inspired by an interesting book by Helen Petersen called Can't Even: How the Millennial Generation Became a Burnt Out Generation, and why millennials are so burnt out. And, it's kind of interesting to me because I'm hearing so much about the word exhaustion, burnout these days, probably actually more than ever, but I can promise you that it's not particular to the millennial generation. I mean, I'm really curious and interested around how Petersen described this from a millennial point of view, and I want to learn a lot from that. I'm going to read the book or listen to it. And the part that I'm also curious about is that, as long as I've been around, I think the boomer generation could have claimed this. I think every generation group could have claimed this. And I think, millennials are standing shoulder to shoulder, probably from a different perspective, with every generation right now that's feeling quite exhausted, mentally exhausted. So what in my 40 plus years experience is that we just need to find better ways to deal with the fact that no one can stay in the anxiety, exhausted, burnout zone for any extended period of time. We just can't. When I joined a cellular company, there were only 50,000 cell phones around the western part of the U.S. at that time. You can imagine how early days those were around cellular time. And that was the fastest growing kind of nonstop organization. And the head office was in the Seattle area. And when you went to Bellevue and you saw all these Microsofties at that time, this was in the very early 90s, they were the same way. Microsoft was just like a never-ending burnout kind of environment. So this idea has been around and this feeling has been around and will always be around. The one difference, of course, right now is that the speed of which and the never being able to switch off institutionally, it's hard to switch off because work doesn't end from the point of view of a place closing down. We don't punch out the same way. If you're a knowledge worker, you can be working all the time. All those other considerations. And of course, these black swan events, like the C word, are likely to happen faster along with exponential technology and so forth. Anyway, what all this amounts to is that newer and better strategies to renew ourselves, and recognizing we're not going to get a lot of institutional help to do it from the point of view of, things closing down at a particular time, or not being able to go to work, or not being able to be called or texted by our bosses or whatever. So we need different strategies to constantly renew ourselves. And the now what is that, please try to give yourself a little bit of room to find ways to employ some of these strategies in a more regular kind of basis. And there are lots of different ways and things we need to do. And different is the operative word. But nevertheless, the end of it is, in order to go into the performance zone, we need to stay out of the burnout anxiety zone. And the only way to do that is regular intentional renewal of our energy and well-being. That's it. That simple, that hard, all the time. Thanks. And as always, join us on our socials. Join our YouTube channel. Just hang with us. LorneRubis.com, belongify.com. Wine Wednesdays, our lead-ins on Monday mornings. All the stuff Garrett and I interact with you on. You inspire us, and hope to see you again next Hot Topics. Bye for now.